All right, we're live officially.
Right. What's up, guys? Shawn Bowen, Full Circle Investment Group and wholesalingoutofthebox.com. Back at it again, another lunchtime live. Guys, today we are talking about how to set up a pre-walkthrough. So we're going to talk about what it's like to talk to sellers and to understand the condition of the property prior to going out to the home. We have a lot of sellers that are asking you to come look at their property and you haven't even gotten to a number yet. And if you don't know your number in big ticket numbers as far as reno budget or rehab budget, why are you going to look at the property, right? You guys might be miles apart with your numbers. And what their idea of fixed doesn't need fixed is completely different from yours, right? So as you guys are joining us today, if you would, please click that link above or below or wherever it's at on here to join us for StreamYard. That way we can see where you're coming in from. We should have these streaming on Virginia Wholesale Real Estate, and I think we have this in our private group as well. So again, pre-walkthroughs. What is it like to talk to a seller, to do a virtual walkthrough of the home to get a really good idea of what's happening, right? So I always talk about this in our property walkthroughs coming up this Friday. There will be a link somewhere for that. So what it's like to do this, okay? So when you're talking to sellers, how can you get through a virtual walkthrough just like you would if you were going to a home? What does that look like? What does it feel like? And it can't be scripty feeling. It can't be it's got to flow. Okay. So what you're looking to do is get through the exterior from just like you would if you were to walk up to the home and just like you would if you were to walk through the home. Right. And that's how this virtual walkthrough helps you come up with a number. Right. So what is it like to figure out big ticket items? The roof, the siding, the windows, the foundation, landscaping from the exterior. And then how do you work your way on the inside to the conversation of other big ticket items? Bathrooms, kitchens, floors, interior doors, exterior doors, HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, so that you guys can really understand and get a really good visual of what it's like to do that walkthrough and then come up with a budget. What's a rehab budget look like? That if you're within those big ticket items, you're probably within $5,000 to $10,000 of your actual budget of the end buyer that they're probably going to do. So I speak to this today based on our numbers for our area in Hampton Roads, which we've actually used up Northern Virginia. And I think we've actually gone as far south as some guys down in South Carolina and North Carolina have said they used them. And they're really close, right? So being able to ask these sellers what that feels like, just like you're walking through a home, should be the same conversation, right? You want to focus on the seller and you want to be able to talk to the seller about their why, what's going on with the home, what's going on with them. Again, it's really getting into the psychological part of this of why the seller needs to sell the home and are you actually helping them solve a problem? And at the same time, you're walking through the property either virtually or physically and getting this information and not beating the seller up and saying like, oh man, this roof looks really bad, or this kitchen, looks like 1970 and it matches the bathroom with the faux carpet and all the purple and pink tiles. And, instead of beating the seller up and being negative about their home, you're just getting big ticket items so that you can talk to the sellers why. Right? If you do this, you should be able to run through your numbers within 30 to 45 minutes of a physical walkthrough, right? Talking to the seller and different things. And then over the phone, it should take you about 5 or 10 minutes. But having that statement, having that line of direction of where you're going so that the seller knows what's coming, right? How do you line that up? How do you talk to a seller to say that? Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm going to ask a few questions about the home, probably take about 5 or 10 minutes. Do you have that time? Right? Allow the seller to control the conversation, knowing that you're not forcing them into anything. This is going to help you while dealing with sellers. Okay. So ask them for permission and really care, right? Like if they don't have time, don't pressure them into a bunch of questions. Take the time to ask if they reach them in a good time. Allow them to say yes and allow them to say no, right? And then ask them, If they're good to go, okay, so I'm going to do a walkthrough with you. And what that looks like is I just want big ticket items from the exterior to the interior and the way you ask it, right? Has the roof been replaced in the past 5 years? And then so on and so on through the rest of this, which is what we talk about in these property walkthroughs. So a lot of good information in those. And I'm sure the link is either here or you'll see it somewhere in Virginia Wholesale Real Estate. Or you can check us out at wholesalingoutofthebox.com and our events page. And you can sign up and see what this is like. But this will save you a lot of time when you're dealing with sellers so that you're not wasting time. The worst part is going to a home that you should never have been there in the first place because the seller is so adamant about you just coming to look at the home. And what does that sound like? Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm interested in taking a look at the home. I'd like to know a little bit about it. Can you tell me a little bit? Nope. Just come take a look, and then you can decide for your own if you want to buy it or not, right? And if you do that on every single property, you're not even, maybe you're going to go to, and so many properties in the beginning, that you're going to go to so many of these houses. By the time you get there, you're like, there's nothing wrong with this house. It looks great. Why don't you list it? Because it doesn't fit for your criteria. It's not going to fit for your cash offer. You might get into different conference or talks with different offers, right? Sub 2 under finance, getting creative. But you don't want to just go to a bunch of these homes for no reason at all other to just get an idea of repairs, right? So take the time to do that over the phone, do the walkthrough in a virtual setting so that maybe you can start getting to a number, right? You do the walkthrough in a virtual setting, you get to a number, and now maybe you're in front of your computer if you're fortunate enough to where you can actually do some quick numbers. Mr. Seller, based on the repairs, what things look like they're selling in the marketplace, I think I can start here, right? After you're getting through your normal questioning, your line of questioning, the $10,000 question, a lot of these different tactics to work with sellers to ultimately help them, right? But you got to figure out a number before you get there. Otherwise, you're running all over town. You're looking at properties you shouldn't be. I've had multiple individuals that say in the beginning, I just enjoy looking at homes. Great. After the first 5 or 10, that's not going to be that fun anymore. Going to a home where you know there's motivation from a seller and the amount of repairs from your virtual walkthrough and talk has allowed you to understand, yeah, I should be here. We're within $10,000, $20,000 of the price I can actually pay this home, right? Whether it's us buying it, whether it's wholesaling it, whether it's doing creative financing, whatever that is, you want to take the time to be able to walk through it over a virtual setting and with the seller to know that you guys are close to the same page. It has got to be the most frustrating thing ever, and I did this when I first started, to have so many homes you go look at and not know that it was such a waste of time to be there. Do this on a number scale, right? Say you look at 5 homes in a week. That's what, 5, 10, 15, 20 homes over the month, of which maybe 1 or 2 you should have been at, right? So this would have saved you a lot of time. You could have been on the phone calling more sellers. You could have been data mining to find more lists, all the other stuff that has to go along with this business, right? So guys, today's topic is meant to be how to set up and walk through a property walkthrough in a virtual setting so that you have the time to really understand and build the number of knowing whether or not you're going to go to this home and actually look at it, right? The idea of a seller talking about maybe something of the outside products. Let's talk about what doesn't really matter, but a lot of sellers talk too. It's got a great deck that we just redid. As great as that is, it's probably going to add maybe $5,000, $8,000 to the end number. It's not that great, right? It's not that big ticket of an item. Why is it to them? Because they just did it and they just spent the money. So it does matter to them. So other big ticket items that matter the most to you are you talked about the roof, the windows. And again, guys, every time I go through this, I go from an exterior to interior setting because it doesn't allow you to forget anything. So roof, siding, windows, foundation, landscaping, right? That's all exterior stuff. I work my way in. We talk about bathrooms, kitchens, electrical, HVAC, is the plumbing and floors and doors, interior doors to exterior doors, all this kind of stuff to ultimately get you close enough to your number so that you can make that decision of whether or not you guys are even close enough to go look at the home. By the time you do this, you'll have saved time, you'll have built a better rapport with the seller, and then you will also have a better idea of the home that allows you to go to something that you should be to make an offer, or not even meant to be there, right? So guys, not too long today. Quick little information on the property walkthroughs that we do. If you're local to the area, or even if you're out of town, we do these virtual online. So please check us out at wholesalingoutofthebox.com. Go to the events tab and sign up there with us, and we'll be there this Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And looking forward to helping you guys and working with you. Guys, as normal, as I always say, if there's anything of this video that helped, please take the time to share it or comment on it and let us know if these things are helpful, or you have a different way of doing it that works better for you, maybe in your area or not in our area. Would love some feedback here to see if anything would be different from the way that we do it versus other guys. So guys, thanks again for taking the time to be here. As usual, always come back and see us next one. We always do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays for lunchtime, and try to get you guys some good information you can actually use. Otherwise, hope to see you at the property walkthrough, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.